focus our attention on the details of the budget which the president laid before the National Assembly before he jetted out to Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, where we are hearing now from Ajuri Ngilale some of the details of what the president is engaged with. Tonight, I'm being joined by the Vice Chair of the Senate Appropriations Committee, Senator Samuel Ali Ndume. Thank you so much, Senator, for joining us.
Okay, how are you? All right, I'll pay you back.
You always look forward to that, to paying back.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much indeed for coming.
No worries.
So, I mean, there was something that happened that it's caused a lot of engagement on social media, which I wanted to ask you. There was a particular song, not a national anthem, but was a mandate song that was being sung. A lot of people were asking that in an official environment, that kind of thing be happening?
No, not really. But it happens. But it's not a crime.
So is it right?
Yeah, it's not right. But it's not a crime.
Does it make you and your colleagues in an official environment?
No.
Does it make you look good?
Not really. But honestly, it's not a big deal. But you know, in this country, we used to pick on trivial things. I just thought we are taking our time now. I thought
but I mean, this is also that's why I wanted to take it quickly so that we can get into the meat of the matter.
When your president walks in, there are times that some members take advantage of that kind of situation to even challenge the president directly. I remember when I was in a house, there was one of our colleagues who were in the opposition then. We called him Pia Pia. And when the president came and started making long presentation, Obasanjo was the president then. He stood up and he said, Karianka, Karianka. You know, it's in the house it means it's a lie. And the president was shocked. Obasanjo. Then he sat down. And then president continued. It's normal. When Buhari came some times back, this same thing was done. Say Baba, say Baba, say Baba. So why should Tinubu's case be a big deal? That time he didn't call me to ask me why did he say Baba. Is it now because Tinubu is the president? And I was not there anyway.
I ask you now.
I was not there.
Senator, I'm asking whether it is right. That's the question.
I'm saying it's not right, but equally it's not a crime.
Okay, let's get to the meat of the matter. I just wanted to get your view whether or not, I mean, we should be doing that in an official environment. But let's go. It's an unofficial thing. I don't think.
Let's go into they do that. You know, they have these instances somewhere. Even in America, where we are coming from, you have issues like that. There was a time Donald Trump went to make a presentation. He presented as his speech, which is the tradition, to somebody, Pelosi, who is the speaker. In the front of the president, she tore the speech.
Nigeria is watching, and some of those younger people are also watching. Let's get to the budget. Are you impressed with the budget, though?
Yeah.
You are analyzing and looking into the details already.
Yeah, I have it here. That's what I do, but the full detail is big, so it's not easy. But I look at the summary of it, which was presented, and the objective of the budget. The president came and said, "This is the budget of renewed hope." And normally, when you say you have your agenda or mantra as renewed hope, then you have to make it realistic. But one thing interesting or impressive about this budget actually is it is not only budget, as I see it, of renewed hope, but it's budget that is more realistic than the budgets that are presented before.
What makes it so?
Yeah, because, see, I tried to do comparative analysis with what we had during the last regime, the presentation of under President Muhammadu Buhari. The budget during his time was 24.8 trillion put together. We included the one that Obasanjo brought. This time around, the budget is 27.2 trillion. The revenue expected last time up to date in 2023 was 10.045 trillion. But this time we're expecting a budget of 16.87 trillion. I would have loved to.
Yeah, I have a breakdown.
You have the breakdown?
Yes, I do.
Fine. So, but what I have is the capital expenditure vis-a-vis what we had in. Well, you don't have
The comparative?
Yes.
No,
So
I don't
I'm
have
giving you the comparative.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Now, I think it's like your own. The budget deficit to GDP was 6.1, and it has been reduced to 3.88 now this year. The capital expenditure put together last year or this year that is running out or ran out yesterday was 5.9. This year we have unprecedented increase, and that is what I really gave me this. The budget now has 30.12 or 2% trillion, increase. 30% of the budget is going in for capital. That is 8.7 trillion.
And the last time was 2023?
Yeah, it was 5.9, including the one that was recently brought by Mr. President. It was just below, I think, about 25%.
So we're spending more money on capital.
That is the one thing that I have been, this time around, the capital expenditure and put in together is about 31%. It has never
of the entire budget.
Yes. Then the recurrent, I have issues with the recurrent even before now. But this year it was 8.3 trillion going. But in the budget of 2024, the recurrent expenditure is going to be 9.9 trillion, almost 10 trillion. But the reason behind this, which is understandable, is that there is going to be from April increase in salaries.
So that has been captured?
Yeah, that has been captured. That's what brought this.
That jacked it up, that increased it for almost over $1 trillion.
Yeah, over $1 trillion. It's more than 1 trillion.
It's more than 1 trillion, yes, compared to the last one.
Yeah, that's it. And the debt service last time was 6.3 trillion, now is 8.25. That's what
Are you worried about that, though?
Yeah, I'm
debt
worried.
servicing.
I'm really worried, and I said this is something that the president needs to look into. This issue of debt service is something that I personally want to, and I'm sure the president has a good team to look into. And I'm happy that the Minister of Finance said it there, that we cannot continue to be, using borrowed money to service our debt. So there has to be more drive in terms of revenue. They have, I can't say it's ambitious, but the good thing is that even this budget, 10.3 or nearly 10.4 trillion revenue will be from non-oil related sources, and 1.29 trillion from independent revenue. That is, then there's going to be about 685 billion from grants on donor-funded projects, and also about 359 billion coming from dividends from LNG, Development Bank of Nigeria, Galaxy Backbone, and Bank of Industry. All that, it has not been like that before, because these people just collect money and use it the way they want in those days. One good and impressive thing is that there is going to be a reduction of the budget deficit. It used to be 13.78 trillion, that is in 2023. But now it's going to go down to 9.18. So in short, one of the concerns really is that of the borrowing. But I said before here that it's not the issue of even borrowing. The issue is what you do with the money that you borrow. I don't mind if Nigerian money, almost all of it, is used for infrastructure, that even my grandchildren will be paying for it. Because when they grow up and they ask, why are we paying this money? This train, this road, and all these things, structures, these schools, this hospital was built from that borrowed money. So every country borrows. The highest debtor, I think, in the world now is the United States.
But Senator, once the president and his team, were they able to explain in details what these borrowings are going to be used for?
That's what we are going to do from tomorrow.
So they're going to defend the borrowing,
budget.
And
we have passed it through second reading this evening. I'm just coming from the chamber. Adopted the votes and procedures. Adjourned plenary till 12. so that we'll now call in the ministries to come and defend their position. If you have questions, we ask. And basically, I appeal to my members, to our colleagues, my colleagues, that looking at this budget, we should concentrate and looking at the importance of passing the budget before the end of this month, that is December, so that we will maintain the January-December budget cycle. It's important we do that. And in doing that, we should concentrate on crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and then looking at margin of error, which is normal. Looking at the budget, because sometimes when you have trillions like this, maybe if you do your arithmetic very well, you discover that they are saving of 10, 20, 50 billion.
But are you using the help of consultants, experts, to help the Senate
of course.
to scrutinize this?
Yeah, of course. And some of us are experts.
Because they said the devil is in the details, isn't it?
No, some of us are experts. Do you think I'm illiterate now as I'm talking to you?
No, but you can't do it all by yourself.
No,
that's
it's
the question.
not about me.
And you don't have enough time
the chairman,
to be able to do it.
The chairman is an expert, and as you rightly said, we do public, the Senate is open to the public. And we call on Nigerians to scrutinize the budget. And the good thing is that by tomorrow or next, you will have the details of the budget on the website of the budget office. And this time around, you know why this thing is coming out like this? I'm not surprised. Because the Minister of Budget and Planning, Bagudu,
yes,
is an expert, he's a loaded person, economist. That's why it come out like this. I'm not surprised. And as I said, the president came in, he's so determined. You can see it from the budget. It's not only budget of Renew Hope. I call it realistic budget. It's budget of reality. If all goes well with us and things go the way we want, all ceteris paribus. You know, the impact of oil pricing and production and quota like that can have impact on the budget. You know, the revenue is projected from collection. You know, you can have issues with that. But be it as it may, 5 to plus 5%, minus 5%, I think I'm very hopeful that we will be on track.
I'll come to the details in terms of sectoral details of the education.
And you know the pricing something. You know, we base the oil production benchmark, and when we pass the MTF realistically too. 75% exchange rate, 750%, 50 naira.
Are those realistic though?
Yeah.
700 to the dollar?
Yeah.
And
even now, officially,
the production, oil production, also it's realistic.
Yeah, yeah, oil production is realistic, and that's as I said. We may have 5%
plus or minus,
plus or minus margin of error, which is normal in every this thing.
So 1.78 million barrels per day.
Yes.
You imagine how much we are producing.
But that is not what is given the ECOWAS.
The quota, the OPEC quota.
Yeah, OPEC quota is less.
But the question, those will be asking, when was the last time we produced that quantum?
Well, I can't remember of it, but we have been operating.
We've oscillated between 1 million and 1,100,000,
no,
1,200,000.
No, above that.
I mean, on the average, Senator.
Yeah, there was a time we got to 1.5.
I mean, but on the average, it's not more than 1.3.
It's not more than that. But you know, the climate is getting better. The hostility, the oil theft, that time was at its highest. Now all this is going down.
Is it also calculated with Dangote refinery that is hoping that might come on stream? The Port Harcourt, Warri refinery and Kaduna refinery.
Yeah.
Are all these captured into the expectations, revenue?
Of course, yeah. But we are not basing the budget on that. That is another sector.
Because no, I'm saying that in terms of revenue,
the president has already removed this issue of subsidy. You know?
So it's not captured in this budget?
No, there's no subsidy in this budget. The subsidy is gone. We are only going to put in the benefits of subsidy. They captured the benefits of subsidy in the budget.
So let's look at whether or not the priorities, the focus that the president laid out in the budget, and some of those key areas that he said he wanted to focus on, and the attention of his government to focus on, and whether or not it meets the aspiration of the Nigerian people. It talked about security, poverty alleviation, and job creation. I mean, those who will ask the question, what we need presently is how we can raise revenue, how we can produce locally, how we can gain more foreign exchange. Do you see the reality of these questions in this budget? More revenue for Nigeria.
Yeah, to a large extent. As I told you, I'm still doing the analysis, but so far, it's it's promising. The president promises in the budget 3.75 economic growth, jobs, reliance on loans must be reduced.
The growth rate that the president is talking about is even higher than what the IMF projected.
Yes.
There was a downgrade by the IMF on our growth.
No, but this president, and it's achievable. 3.75 is achievable. And when it comes to priorities, as I said before, the Constitution is very clear. Security and welfare of its citizens is the purpose of government. That is what Section 4(2)(b) of our Constitution. And here we are with the president giving priority. Number one, to security, because in the budget, 3.2 trillion, 2.325 trillion is budgeted, which is 12% for security. Education, which you talked about earlier, has 2.18 trillion, which is about 8% of the total budget. Works and housing.
7.9 actually.
What?
Education is about 7.9.
Yeah, 7.9.
2.18 trillion.
Yeah, 18 trillion.
18 trillion.
And infrastructure, that is works, housing, and all that, has 1.3 trillion. And as I said, the recurrent taking much, but the capital is also taking okay. So in total, those sectors.
But defense seems to have a huge chunk compared to other sectors. Defense and security takes about 12% of the budget.
12% of the budget, yeah.
Apart from capital.
3.25 trillion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as I said, that's what it's all about. What Nigerians now, even if they are not going to have anything, if this country can be well secured, Nigerians will say, go ahead. I believe. Most of us.
Oh, you chair the committee on the army.
Yeah.
Some of the details in the defense, because we know it's not all about throwing money at everything. It's about strategy also and intelligence.
No. Let me tell you, the Nigerian army, I know them. I've worked with them for the past 4 years as their chairman. And I'm son of a retired soldier. I grew up in the barracks. Immediately after Civil War, we moved into the barracks. We started from Port Harcourt, moved to Jos, went to Takum when my father retired. So I'm a barrack boy. I know what's happening there. And I was privileged also to know what the police are in. These are people, if they have what it takes. What does it take these days? Is to have the equipment that you need, especially modern equipment. Even up to now, we don't have the necessary equipment. The Nigerian army that is supposed to look at the country with over 200 million people. The total strength of Nigerian army up to today is not up to 200,000. So it's not up to 1%. The Nigerian police have not up to 500,000, as you see. And
not up to 400,000.
Not up
it's
to
about 380.
And
8,000, yeah.
And you're expecting them to police 200. It's not possible. In my local government.
Is there recruitment in that budget?
Of course it's continuous.
So is there a specific
because
President Tinubu campaigned he's going to get more boots on the
ground.
Yeah.
In fact, recently we approved in the supplementary budget, remember, to Nigerian police and other security agencies, and recruitment is top on the priority.
The IG said he needs over 100,000 more police officers.
Yeah.
Is this also captured? Because the 12%, the 3.25 trillion is also recurrent and capital expenditure under the defense and security.
Yeah, that is part of it. But that's not all about it. The police needs more than what they have now, left to me. You have to secure the country. You have to secure everybody. You know what's going on everywhere. And it's still because we don't have enough boots on the ground and we don't have equipment. Up to now, I just came back from my local government where I went to bury my stepfather.
Sorry about that, about your loss.
Thank you. And it's very pathetic. You still see our soldiers with old AK-47, very old uniform. We are in different uniform. We are in different boots. If they have it, they will use it. They still need it. And worst of it, you know, when they are posted to picket somewhere, they used to, use a thatch and places to cover themselves. Even tampon they don't have.
But those who believe that, look, in securing
these
Nigeria,
people that you
we
say
need
they
to
believe,
break.
They are not on ground. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, that those who say
and maybe one of them.
This present security structure in Nigeria is not working, that we need to restructure.
How can you
community policing, state policing?
Yeah, those are details. But in those days that we had police, when we had police, even up initial, they were doing well. So there's nothing wrong with the structure. What is wrong is people talking about what they don't know. If I say, let's go to Goza now, will you go?
I will. I've been you
that
know,
was before
I've
now,
reported
10 years ago.
In the heat of
years
of Boko Haram. I was on the ground.
People just sit down and be writing and be speaking. Go and see how somebody who cannot speak Hausa from Bayelsa is serving in my local government. For 5 years, they will not transfer him. That is because there is no number. You don't have enough troops to move them around. So those ones that you have, you keep them there. If you see the condition under which they serve, you will respect them. They are not paid up to 5,000 per day. And multiply that. We have over 35,000 troops and what they call the theater, Operation Hadinkai. Take your pen and multiply 5,000 times 30,000, assuming they are all of them are just other ranks, as we call it, or soldiers. 5,000 per day times 30,000. What do you have? Multiply it by 1 month and see what you have.
So we need more money.
But people, yeah, but people when they sit down, when people sit down in their comfort, they say, oh, they are spending too much on the Nigerian army. Go and see. Other than officers, these other ranks, do you find the children of poor people?
But you don't think that we need to break down the structure for effectiveness?
How do you break down the structure? You cannot have more than one army. There was one army.
What about the policing?
Yeah, that's
how we can effectively police the communities.
Well, it's the same in Nigerians. When they bring police to a place, no, so police cannot do it. Bring army, and they just when they bring army, army are not this, they are not relating with people. No, that is it. We need more police. We need more police. The army have no business doing what they are doing now. They are deployed in 35 states. They are supposed to defend the country from like neighboring countries.
In your estimation, you think that President Tinubu should massively recruit?
I'm sure he's going to do it because he has started well. This budget shows next year now we are going to have more, and in the next 4 years of his presidency, I'm sure people will see positive change. We have already started having the hope. And I believe in him.
In President Tinubu?
Yeah.
You think he can change things?
Yeah, he can change things because, you know, the president here is in charge. That's one thing with him. Sometimes people even think that Tinubu is too authoritative and he takes charge, you know. But unlike our former president, my president will just give you an assignment and will not look over you. And that's why the problem is. And he knows that. That was the mistake President Buhari did. He ended up confessing these days that he had more kleptocrats in his government than people that they have interest at heart. I was here when I said there are kleptocrats, too many kleptocrats in the government.
In the Buhari government?
Yes. And now he confessed recently that truly there was he admitted that yes, there was some kind of people that took over power to themselves. But in Tinubu's government, you can't do that. You can see what he did to his own son. So during a council, he was going there, and truly he told him off. If it were another person, it would be through behind. But there, he told him that.
So you think President Buhari was not in charge, but this president is in charge?
Yes,
that's what you think?
Yes, I think so.
But I mean,
and then he also says it everywhere that if I make mistake, correct me. And if you don't tell me, then I will hold you responsible. He told his ministers. But then you still have one or two people, here and there that also try to take advantage or do funny things, But this, I think we're going to have it better. All I'm begging Nigerians is to give him a chance. Let's give him a chance.
There's a lot of suffering in the land.
Yes.
And that is a very hard message to sell.
But all Nigerians also agree that some of the hard decisions is something that need to be taken. You can imagine what we saved from the period he had just announced abruptly that, look, this oil subsidy something, no more.
Like a very good friend, Goswell Akpabio, said, that the pain that we're experiencing is going to be like the pain of the childbirth. You agree with him, though?
Yeah, I agree that it's not something like that. I agree with him on that. And also it's something like, Nigeria was sick. It's like malaria. You need to take chloroquine, very bitter, But after some time, you even get heightened level in, when you are treating malaria. But if you don't take the treatment, it can kill you. You understand? So I think it's good that the president took that kind of a decision. And I'm happy that he has a good team around him. So far, so good.
You look at the recommendation of UNESCO, for example, on funding education, and you look at the quota or the sectoral, the disposition of the president in terms of the allocation for education, for example, is just a paltry 7.9%, 2.18 trillion across all the tertiary and other sectors of education.
That is okay. There is an introduction of students' scholarship now. Let me say again, education is very important, but when you don't secure the country and you don't create the enabling environment, you are talking about increasing the percentage to meet the UNESCO quota
suggestion.
Suggestion. I think this will come up later, but let's secure the country first. Let's secure the country as he proposes. Let's invest in this social investment that the president quickly brought amendment to the Social Investment Act, which he already signed. And in this year he budgeted, I think, 534 billion for social investment.
I was going to come to that. Social development and poverty reduction program, 534 billion.
No,
that's 2% of the budget.
Yes.
I mean, you and your colleagues are still investigating what was spent under the Buhari government on these social intervention programs.
Yes.
And this kind of money going there, do you trust that this money will really go directly to Nigerians? That's a major problem, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a major problem, but you can see the president is even serious. He removed it from Ministry of Humanitarian and brought it under the vice president, so there will be more eyes, watching over it. And we too, we have seen it. But the National Assembly have been talking about it even during the Buhari administration. I confronted them at one time. I said it, I challenged it, and I was, I've been vindicated because actually most of them literally stole the money
that was meant for social intervention.
Yes, and they keep on talking about statistics and this and all that, and it was all full of lies. But this time around, Mr. President has changed it.
So those monies for welfare, they were being stolen.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that what was going on?
Are you cross-examining me?
No, I'm asking you a question, Senator.
So if people didn't get it and the money is not there, what happened? Let me ask you.
What will you and your colleagues do about this?
Money has been budgeted, all right? And people were claiming that so amount has been paid, and there was nothing to show on ground. Where is the money?
Maybe they kept it in the bank.
Okay, so that is your answer.
So I wanted to ask you, what would you and your colleague now do about that?
We are going to look at it more. That is to do our thorough job and oversight. We have started. We have started doing that, and this is the 10th Senate. It's different. And this is President Tinubu, not Buhari. And this Federal Executive Council too is a different one. All the team, the Vice President, and then there are some changes. And most people now understand though, that this President is very serious about turning things around. I don't think he would tolerate anybody that was going to be a stumbling block around him or.
So Nigerians should have high expectation and high hopes.
I have that one too. And honestly, I just pray to God to help Mr. President, because even myself, I have very high hope in him, not to talk about somebody out there. And you know, he has made people to say, look, we must take this decision. And the people say, yeah, take it. But now the problem is, if we take that decision or that hard dose, and after a long time, we don't see any change, so that is going to be a problem. I will be part of it.
Senator Ali Samuel Ndume. Senator Deputy Chair on Appropriations, thank you so much indeed for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
You know, I told you I was a Christian.
Yeah, you said so.
I lost my stepfather, who is a Christian, and I went to bury him at home. And when I was growing up with him, my mom was calling me Samuel, and he was calling me my father's name, Mohammed. So I think it's good you consider becoming an Adamu or Samuel too.
We'll have this conversation after now. Well, Senator Samuel, thanks so much for time. I appreciate it.